We are back. I know Chris posted a video, but I am officially back on the channel, giving you guys some of the best fantasy hockey content moving forward for the rest of the year. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas and an even better New Year's. Now, my personal resolution going into this new year is going to be to try and win some of my fantasy hockey leagues, and hopefully yours is too, and hopefully that your team is doing well enough right now to be in a playoff position. Now, I'm going to be giving you a bundle of players today. Some players that have very good schedules next week to maximize your games played, or a bundle of players that I think have good long-term value given some changes over the last couple of weeks. This is going to be a good video, guys. Let's jump into it. Starting us off with some forward ads going into week 14. We're starting it off with a higher roster percentage player in Jonathan Huberdeau. Now, this is more of a 8 to 10 team league ad. He's likely not available in some of your 12 team leagues, but still maybe, given he's under 50% rostered right now. He's having sort of a resurgent season. We honestly thought his career was lost when he got traded over to Calgary, and we saw this significant drop in production, but still with Huberdeau here, he's sustained his role on line one, power play one. He's playing 18:30 per night with some games going well over 20 minutes, all contingent on a lot of the special teams. But 37 games played this season with 16 goals, 13 assists, 8 points on the power play, and 65 shots on goal. Huberdeau's not really a noted goal scorer. He's more of a playmaking type of forward, but still, hopefully we start to see these numbers continue. He's been very, very hot over the last couple of weeks. So this is a guy that I definitely want to be looking to roster as he continues to produce with the Calgary Flames. Now, we have two Colorado Avalanche players. First, we have Ross Colton. Now, Valeri Nichushkin was left out of Thursday night's game, so this does give an even bigger bump to both Colton and Drouin, but I'm going to start with Colton here. Center left wing eligible, 18% rostered. I was talking with some of the Fantasy Pod guys, and we were saying who have been the best free agent ads. I think early in the season was Ross Colton. I've mentioned this before, where he was actually ranked one in one of my biggest point leagues, but now he's kind of fallen off a little bit, and we've seen Kirill Marchenko really pop off. He's up to 75% rostered. So those two have been the best free agent ads. And now we're seeing Ross Colton's percentage drop significantly with some of the players like Lehkonen and Nichushkin coming back into the lineup as of most recently. But with Colton here, he's still playing a line two power play one role. Now with Nichushkin out, we saw Rantanen get bumped up to the top line. But when when Nichushkin's healthy, the top line is Lehkonen, McKinnon, Nichushkin, and then we have Mittelstadt, Colton, and we have Mikko Rantanen. So right now, Colton, line two, power play one, averaging about 16 minutes and 13 seconds time on ice since returning back to the lineup, averaging half a goal per game, 2.62 shots per game, and 2.52 hits per game. So a very, very solid floor with the shot and hit mix. We did see his 12th goal as of last night. So pretty good upside here for Colton in the long term. Now, Jonathan Drouin is a very similar position than Colton. The only issue I have with Drouin is he does lack peripherals, but they give him a ton of minutes. He's currently playing a line two power play one role, 6 games played this season with 20 minutes and 16 seconds average time on ice, one of the highest in the league for any forward. 2 goals, 4 assists, so about point per game right now. He plays a big role and has a very good schedule upcoming for next week. Now we have Troy Terry here. Unfortunately, he did score 2 goals last night, so maybe we're going to start to see this roster percentage scale up a little bit, but he's playing a line one power play one role, 19 minutes per night, averaging over 20 minutes per night in the team's last 15 games. He's been great this season, 35 games played, 11 goals, 17 assists, almost a point per game, with 7 points in the power play and one of the highest volume shooters on the Anaheim Ducks. Now, they have been a little bit of a nightmare to roster so far this season. Players have been good and then bad and then good and then getting injured. With the trade to Cam Fowler, it does hurt him quite a bit, but still, Troy Terry here, a very good upside for the rest of the season. Lastly, we have Marco Rossi. Now, we do know there's an injury to Kirill Kaprizov right now, but prior to the injury, he was still skating line one, power play one. Joel Eriksson Ek has returned back to the lineup, so maybe we see Rossi go back to power play two when Kirill Kaprizov gets healthy, but still has been skating a ton at 5-on-5 with Kirill Kaprizov, who is honestly maybe the favorite for Hart right now, averaging 20 minutes and 6 seconds average time on ice over the last 15 games. So far this season, 38 games played, 14 goals, 18 assists, close to a point per game, 68 shots on goal, and 7 power play points. He was a very highly touted prospect coming out of the Ottawa 67 system, so a lot to like here from Marco Rossi. The only downside is just the sole center position and the uncertainty moving forward with players starting to get healthy to the lineup. Moving on to the next set of forwards, we have Alexei Protas. I think he's Belarusian on the Washington Capitals. 20% rostered, has been very good this season. Currently skating in line 1, line 2, and on power play 2. 15 minutes, 40 seconds average time on ice. 37 games played this season, scoring 16 goals and 16 assists. close to a point per game, well over a 30 goal pace right now. Now, I don't know if it's fully sustainable. He's only at 70 shots this season, but still, if he can continue to scale those shots up, the goals will continue to come. The shooting percentage is relatively high, but this Capitals team has been extremely good. Honestly, probably the most surprising team in the NHL this season. Maybe you can give that credit to Nashville as well on the other end, but still, this Capitals roster has been good. They've been scoring a lot of goals, and Protas is definitely someone I want to look to roster. Now, Jason Zucker, another kind of resurgence player where he's been very, very good for the Sabres on line one, power play one, had a power play goal last night. He's rostered in just 12% of leagues, just a sole left wing position. I found left wing is honestly one of the hardest positions to fill right now. So this is a very good add at a low roster percentage. He's averaging 16 minutes time on ice. This is beginning to scale up as he's starting to skate with Tage Thompson and Tuck on the top line, but he's maintained that power play one role for almost the entire season. 38 games played this season, 11 goals, 15 assists, so 26 points on the year, but 11 of those points on the power play. Been a very strong power play contributor, which should assist with your lineup. Now, moving on, we have Jack Roslovic of the Carolina Hurricanes. They have a strong schedule next week. Center, right wing eligible, just 9% rostered. It's crazy to see with the low minutes he's getting, 13.55 average time on ice, but 17 goals. One of the highest goal per 60 rates in the NHL right now, on pace for well over 30 goals, and he's still just under 10% rostered. You're getting very solid production in the shot category, averaging 70, or he has 75 shots on the season, averaging over 2 shots per game. So really good looks here from Jack Roslovic as he continues to skate in a great role with Sebastian Aho on the top line. Lastly, we have Victor Olofsson of the Vegas Golden Knights, 14% rostered, skating line one, power play one with the injury to Barbashev and Olofsson returning back to the lineup. He's now moved back into that power play one role that we saw early in the season. He's skating with Jack Eichel, who's been extremely good this season. He's averaging 18-30 minutes average time on ice over the last 3 games, and on the season, 17 games played, 8 points, 5 assists, 40 shots on goal. The shots are very promising from Olofsson, who is a noted goal scorer. Back when he was in Buffalo skating with Eichel, he had his breakout season. He was shooting the puck a ton on the power play, and that's exactly what we're seeing again here. Now, the Dorofeyev, if you own him, you can probably drop Dorofeyev now and add Victor Olofsson, who has kind of taken over his role on the top line, on the top power play unit, and the production from Olofsson has been very good to start the season. Moving on, we have some defenseman ads. There hasn't been any real notable ads other than Cam Fowler over the break. Now, with Cam Fowler here, he was traded from Anaheim to St. Louis. It was honestly a matter of time before he got traded. He was there for a very, very long time. Didn't really make it to playoffs for a while. But with Fowler here, 35% rostered, averaging 22 minutes and 2 seconds time on ice since joining the Blues. He's skating in a pair one, power play one role. He has 6 points since joining the Blues, 18 shots on goal, and 25 blocks. The block numbers have been fantastic. It's good to see him now on a more offensive team. Now, I did see that the Blues are playing a power play 1A and power play 1B. Now, they have Thomas on the top power play unit, and they have Kyrou on the second power play unit. I think things will shake out eventually, and they'll probably go back to a more stacked unit with Buchnevich, with Thomas, Kyrou, Fowler all up there. We all know we added Justin Falk earlier in the season. He just wasn't really that good. He had a couple power play points to start the year, but then just kind of fell off. Perunovic hasn't really done it, so Cam Fowler now fits perfectly into this role on the power play one and the pair one for the St. Louis Blues. Now, with Dmitry Orlov here, we do know that Shane Gostisbehere is going to be out a while, which is really unfortunate because he was solid so far this season, hasn't missed a single game. Now, we did see Ty Smith come up and play on the top power play unit. He played just 12 minutes, so it seems like it's kind of a Florida Panthers Adam Boqvist situation where he's going to be playing no minutes, getting no peripherals, but still gets the power play one reps. I think there is an opportunity for Dmitry Orlov to take over that top power play unit eventually. It's really hard to say who's up next between Orlov and Burns. Burns' roster percentage is still over 50%, so I think I'm going to lean more towards Orlov filling in that role. He's more of an offensive guy. He played 24 minutes in the first game with Gostisbehere out, so a lot to like there from a guy who has a ton of upside on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Josh Manson here, they have a great Week 14 schedule. It's been hard to find some streamers from these teams. It was either Gerard or Manson. Likely Taze and Makar are owned. Well, obviously Makar is going to be owned, but Taze is likely owned. So with Josh Manson here, he's just 4% rostered. I'm seeing his ownership percentage start to go up a little bit over the last couple of weeks. He's averaging 0.31 points per game, 1.27 shots per game, 2.19 hits per game, and 1.38 blocks per game. So he's hitting all of the peripheral categories while still putting up pretty solid point production. So a lot to like there from Josh Manson, who should be a solid streamer option for week 14. Now, we do have Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson both out for the Vancouver Canucks. This opens up 2 spots on the top power play unit. Eric Brandstrom, a notable offensive defenseman. He was most recently in Ottawa, if I'm not mistaken. Now playing on the top power play unit. A great week 14 schedule and on power play 1 with Quinn Hughes out. So he's just going to be a streamer for me. He's 1% rostered. So in some of those deeper leagues, if you're looking for a guy that's going to be scaling the top power play unit with 4 games, 2 games on the off nights, Eric Brandstrom seems like a great add. Now, lastly, we have Matt Roy here with another great Week 14 schedule. It was really between him or Rasmus Sandin, but I really like Matt Roy's peripherals here with 1.33 shots per game, 1.52 blocks per game, and 2.22 hits per game. Another guy, if you pair him with Josh Manson for next week, should be hammering all those peripherals for you, and then you can let your forwards go to work with the offensive categories. That's likely how I do it, but these are some of my favorite defenseman ads going into next week. Let me know in the comment section below if there's other defensemen that you're currently looking at going into Week 14. Finally, let's end it off with some goalie ads. There's not really many notable goalie ads here, but we have Lucas Dostal of the Anaheim Ducks. His roster percentage was up very high at the start of the season. Honestly, was one of my best value draft picks across my leagues. Gibson came back, Dostal fell off, but Dostal has started the last 5 games. We do know Gibson started last night, but they are on a back-to-back. So Dostal's going to get the more difficult matchup tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. The GAA just hasn't been that good, but he's getting very good volume. So if you're in points leagues, although he gives up 3 goals on 35 shots and gets the loss, he's still giving you 11 to 15 points. So in category leagues, I would be a little bit more hesitant. It's very contingent on what the matchup's going to be like, but still with Dostal here, you're going to get great volume, especially in that save category, and the save percentage numbers should continue to be good. Now with Tristan Jarry, he just hasn't been that good, but if you're still looking for a starting goalie, he's just 22% rostered and is getting most of the starting reps here in the on the Pittsburgh Penguins. The team as a whole has not been very good, but I'm noticing in a lot of my leagues right now that a lot of teams, including myself, are struggling for goaltenders, especially if you went the 0G strategy. So if you're looking for some goalies for volume here, if you can't get to Dostal, I think I would try and get to Jarry, who has been pretty solid as of recent, but still giving up a lot of goals on a lot of shots. Lastly, Igor Shesterkin has gone down with an injury and has been placed on the IR. So Jonathan Quick now steps into a role where he is going to be the starting goalie on a very, very disappointing New York Rangers team right now. He did only let up 1 goal at home last night against the Boston Bruins, so maybe something signs to come. He only has 9 games started this season with a 269 goals against average and a 907 save percentage. So hopefully we start to see Jonathan Quick help get this Rangers team out of their funk, but I don't think he's the answer. I think Igor Shesterkin is definitely going to be the answer with him coming back relatively soon, but still, Jonathan Quick going into this week looks to be a starting goalie, getting a lot of rep. That will do it for the Week 13 must-add video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the next video.